The best in poker news, entertainment, and more. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Oh, the party's just getting started in here. Yeah, I'm in some wide open spaces. Hopefully I'm not echoing too bad, but hey, we are live here on the Mark Hoke Show, having a great time today. Thank you for joining us. I got to tell you, this has been an interesting day because, quite frankly, my schedule was absolutely brutal over the last 5 or 6 days. It's only getting worse, and right now, of course, it's Thanksgiving weekend, coming up here, and so many tournaments are finishing up. Everybody's jamming in their events and trying to find who's available on Sunday, and it's kind of tough right now. It has been a lot of work. So, Chad Holloway is going to be joining us. We are hopefully going to hear from Alan Kessler at some point today. Alan just made another final table at the Heartland Poker Tour, busted out. But it was enough for him to become the Heartland Poker Tour Player of the Year. Congratulations to Alan Kessler. So hopefully we're going to be hearing from Alan about that win. He made, make sure I get this count right. That would be final table number 5 here in 2003. 9th, 3rd, 9th, and I did not get the results for this last one, but I know he did make another final table. But Kessler also had a 13th place finish and a 20th place finish. So huge run for Alan Kessler as he has won Player of the Year. So hopefully we'll hear from Alan Kessler. I've got Scott Long somewhere hanging around out there from Ania Magazine. We've got Nate Dowland. Hopefully we're going to have him on at some point. Just everybody is all over the place tonight. Plus, not only that, we've got ourselves a little poker tournament going on, the Off-Tail Poker Tables Tournament Series. Event number 2 will be kicking off, and we will get those standings up as soon as we can after this one. First one I wasn't too worried about, but obviously this one we'll make sure we've got them all up there and ready to go. But if you want to get in there, club ID is 629454. Password is Roguewire. Get yourself in there and have a good time. We're going to play some poker tonight on PokerStars.net. So join us on that. All right, so Holloway coming up here at 3:30 Pacific time. Like I said, we're also looking at hopefully Alan Kessler, but I do have Scott Long in the bullpen as well in case Alan gets hung up. So it should be an interesting show today, to say the least. Looking forward to it. A lot of news going on as well. And the World Poker Tour has a brand new name on the Champions Cup, and one that a lot of people are probably saying, boy, it's about time he pulled it off. Tony Dunst has won the WPT Caribbean at the Casino Royale in San Martin. Good for him. So we want to give Tony a big congratulations. Outlasted a final table of Giancomo Fondaro, Zoltan Porak, Marvin Rettenmeyer, Robbie Bacher, and Severin Schlesser. Hopefully we got that right. But a great run by Tony Dunst as it goes Dunst, Fondaro, Schlesser, Rettenmeyer, Purak, and Bacher in that order. So Tony Dunst, big congratulations to him, wins $145,000. And, of course, WPT is getting ready to head back to Montreal coming up here, but of course, the playground, I mean, it's just insane up there every time the WPT goes. So everybody better be ready for that one. It is going to be something else. But Tony Dunst, Bond18 on Twitter, is your newest champion on the World Poker Tour. And that I got to tell you, that is going to mean a lot to Tony. And I haven't talked to Tony so many times. I know he's pretty pumped up about it. About his game and all these opportunities that he's had to try and win the WPT championship, and now it's finally happened. So good for him. That'll make him completely unbearable. But that's all right. We're very, very, very happy for Tony. So way to go, Mr. Dunst. Yeah, so Kessler and Dunst with the big scores today. How about that? Pretty cool stuff happening there. But I wanted to lead off the show with, I normally don't like to read an article. Okay, usually not my thing. But this time I'm going to do it. Because if you haven't seen this op-ed that was just put up on pokernews.com, it's something else. And I don't even know. I know I have my opinions about this. We talked about it a little bit on the show before. but we're going to break this down with Matt Savage, his op-ed that he put on Poker News. Zion, by the way, breaking news, our moderator in the chat box, the Chiefs suck again. Look, I'll touch on football in a little while, but I'm going to do the Andy Reid thing again. Boy, they're good. Andy's always good at beating teams and bad teams. Kansas City better get used to a lot of 10 and 11 win seasons and going nowhere. I bet they're a one-out team. They're going to be a wild card now, So they're going to have to go on the road. Good luck to that. I'm trying to remember Andy Reid winning wild card games on the road. Wait, I'm sure he did. He just got to the NFC Championship and lost. Anyway, all right. So I want to go through this op-ed by Matt Savage. So if you want to go to pokernews.com, it's right up on the front page. You cannot miss it. Here it is. Is it time to reconsider re-entry events? I don't know why this feels like a Jerry Maguire mission statement is debating re-entry events. A craze I feel we started at Commerce Casino in 2010 puts me in between management that, quote-unquote, thinks it has found re-entry events are more profitable and players who, quote-unquote, think that re-entry events are better for them. I've felt this way other times over my career in regard to, quote-unquote, deep stack tournaments and standardized rules, but I feel that making a statement I believe in is important for the health of the poker industry as a whole. Back in 2010, I had the idea to make an event with a $1 million guaranteed prize pool, but only a $335 buy-in with multiple heats, one per day. If you bust it out, you could then re-enter the following day with a fresh stack and another chance to advance to a day two and one step closer to a life-changing payday. The idea was great and novel at the time, and 5,847 entries ended up playing for a $1,683,936 prize pool and a winner's share of $363,936. Many players may not know that the tournaments, for the most part, were created as a loss leader to accomplish one goal, which was to bring in cash players to the venue. Now, with higher rake hotel rooms, restaurants, and marketing value, tournaments have actually been able to break even or show a small profit, but the original goals are usually still the case. There are many detractors with re-entry events, in my opinion, and players and even casinos are acting very short-sighted about their advantages. Re-entry events hurt other sources of not only casino income, but also other ways for poker players to make money. Players that come to tournaments come there to play the events, but when they bust out, there is or was generally a cash game satellite or side event to get into. Now with re-entry, players spend their time and money on a second, third, or more subsequent entries. That means that players are either not available to play other events or spent their money on multiple entries that could have gone elsewhere. Not only do players decimate their bankrolls in a single event, but it also means that they may not be able to afford to come in the next day or even travel to the next event. The wise godfather of poker, Doyle Brunson, said on Twitter that cash games have dried up due to tournaments. I actually think re-entry tournaments being restricted or cut back will help the cash game economy quite a bit. I also think flatter and more extended payouts will help, but that is another column for another day. A statement told to me by a friend, Juking John Nakatani, is the clock on the wall will take care of them all in regards to poker rooms, perhaps being too greedy and spreading games with limits too high when you have smaller games and keep players in action longer. I think the same rule may apply to re-entry tournaments. I also think trying to save players from themselves is highly important to the poker economy. Players have been saying that re-entries should not pay juice. While I somewhat agree, I think that the only real value of having a re-entry for a casino is for the additional rake or to ensure that the guarantee is met. Many of the non-professional players I've spoken to also feel that a re-entry tournament put them at a disadvantage versus the pros in deep pockets, and that it changes play early, making it unfair for them to compete. The last thing I want is for new and casual players to feel intimidated. As I write this article, I'm sitting between Eric Seidel and Isaac Haxton on the way back from St. Kitts, where the recent World Poker Tour Alpha 8 event was held, an event I ran where with $100,000 buy-in in re-entry format. I really don't think this argument necessarily applies to super high roller events, as the bankroll dynamic of the players is so different. It is a delicate balance, and some of the backers have actually stopped putting players into events that have re-entry as it is too costly. I understand many of the arguments for re-entry, and I'm not saying that all re-entry tournaments should be canceled, as they do have value for main events, huge guarantees, Matt Salzberg, and tournaments that players travel long distances to attend. I do think that they must be cut back, though, well thought out, and not every day of a series. It saddens me that an idea I had may have actually hurt the industry, but I don't think it's too late, and I hope some influential players in casino management actually agree with me and make positive changes for the future of our great game. So that is the op-ed from Matt Savage appearing on Poker News right now, talking about the beast that he created, the re-entry events. And, I'll give my 2 cents on this. I think unfortunately what has happened with re-entries, I don't mind the fact that you have a chance to, if you're going to, say, run 3 day ones, and the players can bust out and re-enter the next day, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I really don't. I think those events, when I heard that they started doing those, I thought, hey, it's not a bad idea. You're going to fire 2 or 3 bullets maybe, but no, otherwise it's pretty cool. But unfortunately, what has happened at this point is the people casinos have taken this to another level and have made re-entries essentially giant rebuys. And, it's made it very difficult for the average player to get through these and play these events. It's just, it's too much money. When you're having re-entry events that you can re-enter unlimited times up to level 4 or 5 or 8 or whatever a tournament director decides to put together. The problem is that, that's essentially a rebuy. It's really a rebuy. And unfortunately, because we've really put ourselves in a position where these events got so popular. I think a lot, with the pros, I think a lot of people, once again, we forgot about the amateur players. And, that other side point that Matt makes about breaking down the cash games, you can't have that. Now, I can tell you that the Borgata, for example, when they do a re-entry event, it's insane over there. All the tables are filled. It's not necessarily a problem. But, man, I tell you, I really think that the re-entry event got perverted by some tournament directors. And I think, but I think that I shouldn't say tournament directors per se, poker room directors. It's a nice idea. It was a great idea when it came out. I think that, one thing that people forget is, on the flip side, the argument says that the re-entry events will actually give people a chance to not have to fire a single bullet, and if they lose, they spend all that money on travel, they spend all that on food and everything else to get to an event, and they're playing the main, they bust out on level 6, and trip's over. And all of a sudden, you've got 3 or 4 days where you've got nothing to do, and that, obviously you want to get those players in the cash games. So that it does give players more of an incentive to come out and re-enter. And I get it for re-entry if it's going to be on another day. But if you're allowing people multiple entries into one event on the same day, that is a rebuy. It is essentially a rebuy. And there's a reason the rebuys went by the boards. Because it just got ridiculous. I'm not picking on Daniel Negreanu, who's got the bankroll to do it, but we all know the stories of Daniel being at the World Series and rebuy events and rebuying 24 times. It makes it very difficult for the average player to hang in there. I really don't like playing rebuy events. They drive me nuts. Even a small one online. You're just like, oh, please let me double up before I hit the end of the rebuy and add-on period. Please just let me hit it. I just want to hang in there. That's all I want to do. It's just too much. And, unfortunately, I think Matt has realized that maybe this has gone a little bit too far and it's going to maybe being pushed to pull it back. I don't know. I don't know what the exact answer is going to be. But I also think that it definitely warrants examination. I see Donnie Peters actually put up a comment on there that I think it's important to point out that Matt isn't a little typo there, but isn't advocating that all reentry events should be abolished. I believe the majority of them should be eliminated, and many of the reasons that Matt makes in this article are ones that I agree with. I also feel like poker may be going down the same path with guaranteed events. While events with guarantees are great every now and then, having a guarantee every single event isn't a good thing, in my opinion. Much like what seemed to happen with the re-entry fad, venues and tours seem to take one thing and copy it so much it becomes bad for the game. And guarantees are another, are certainly a very interesting event as well, because if you're willing, I think they're a little different, because if you're willing to lay it on the line, say, we're gonna guarantee this tournament's gonna get $10 million. And you want to put it out there, hey, go for it. Now, how the process gets there, whether you're doing it through re-entries, rebuys, whatever, that's up to the casino director, and it's up to the players to make the right decision whether you play that event or not. I'll tell you, Matt, I don't know if Matt's got buyer's remorse on this or not, but I do think that, one thing that, we're back in that cycle where we're trying to get new players into the game, and with when you have somebody that says I want to go down and play a big event and they can't do it because they can't afford it, and it just turns into a crapshoot early on. We need those players right now. A lot of people really do feel like the amateur players getting shut out again. And, that's why the rebuys went by the boards. So, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I definitely think that that poker rooms have gone absolutely crazy on it. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. All right. And that'll be one of the topics we'll get to talk to Chad Holloway with. Or, I can't even, I feel bad because when I say Chad Holloway, I now have to say World Series of Poker bracelet winner and syndicated writer Chad Holloway. It's getting ridiculous. We'll get to talk to Chad here in about 12 minutes. Let's take a break, and we will be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show on Roguewire.com. Thanks for joining us. And, hey, when you guys hear these sponsors, make sure you take care of them. Go buy some stuff. They'd all appreciate it. So stick around. We'll be right back.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch on October 21st, 2013. 9 will become 1 way or another. Final9comic.com.
Last summer, I was at the World Series of Poker every day and couldn't walk 2 steps without seeing someone wearing 3Bet clothing. It's super comfortable and stylish, and all their stuff looks amazing. The incredible team of pros who wear 3Bet hats, hoodies, tees, and more are a who's who in poker. All-time greats like Jonathan Little, Doc Sands, Brian Rast, Jason Kuhn, Scott Clements, Greg Mueller, Ben Tollerine, Jeff Gross, and of course, Antonio Esfandiari, all proudly wearing the 3Bet brand. They wear 3Bet clothing because they know that being comfortable and feeling confident is crucial to winning on and off the tables. 3Bet.com has shipped thousands of orders worldwide, and it's time for you to join the 3Bet team just like the pros. Go to the number 3bet.com and receive an added bonus of 15% off with the promo code RADIO. Make that right call. Look and feel like a pro at 3bet.com.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net bluerail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at bluerail.net. How far do you want to go?
Want to be a millionaire? Then see if you can become fantasy sports royalty in the 2013 Fantasy Football Millionaire Grand Final at DraftKings.com. Play for free or in paid contests for real money, plus games last one day, so there's no long-term commitment. Thousands of winners have won over 10 million prizes on DraftKings.com, and now it's your turn to cash in. Go to DraftKings.com right now, enter the promo code Hoke, and get a 100% deposit bonus and a free entry into the Millionaire Grand Final qualifier. So don't wait. Crown yourself the king of fantasy sports at DraftKings.com. The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water, and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out, no matter what you're doing, when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at arcticblu.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long as you choose between black, red, or even green cloth, but that's about it. When you choose to play off tilt, it's not just another table, it's your table. The same price gets you a fully custom designed table that reflects your style and game. Off Tilt makes it easy to design a truly one-of-a-kind custom poker table that'll give you home table advantage. Sure, Off Tilt could name their tables for marketing purposes, but why? It's not ours. We don't play on it. And to be honest, there are over 1,000 named Off Tilt tables worldwide, including the WSOP, the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, the Jonathan Papelbon, as well as Julie's, Chris's, Scott's, Amber's, Tristan's, just to name a few. So let us add your name to the list and deliver a truly custom-crafted, furniture-quality poker table worthy of your game. Visit www.offtiltpokertables.com or call Brian Knott today at 262-490-3812. We'll show you why Off Tilt is the only way to play.
Poker is more fun when you win. Most poker books are too theoretical. They tell you to be more aggressive but give few practical examples. Poker Plays You Can Use by Doug Hull, edited by Ed Miller, has 49 concepts with multiple, clear examples from real, live 1-2 through 5-10 games. Each hand is visually represented, explaining which players are vulnerable to these moves. Use discount code KLAV at 3barrelbluff.com to get 25% off your copy. Paper and ebook available.
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at doubledigitcovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at doubledigitcovers.com.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, we're back here on a Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. I guess it could even be Monday morning, or I don't know. Let's not get too much into it. 100 countries strong and keeping it rolling. All right. Chad Holloway going to be on here in just a second. We're hoping to hear from Alan Kessler. We've also got a little bit of, maybe get some Scott Long in here. Nate Allen may be joining us soon. We got all sorts of happenings going on. But once again, I want to remind everybody, get on into the Off-Tilt Poker Tables Tournament Series. Event number 2 is coming up here at 5 Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Your chance to win a brand new poker table. You need those points, guys, so make sure you get signed up. Play some poker tonight with us. PokerStars.net. Club ID is 629454. Password is Roguewire. That's right, Roguewire. Roguewire. Okay, so get in there and sign up. We really appreciate it. All right, let's get this gentleman on the phone. He's getting a resume so long, an introduction. You know, I remember I told somebody, I said to them that the longer the prefixes to your name, the more important you are and the harder it is to get fired from any job that you do. And that, of course, is Chad Holloway, who's just rolling it up lately. What a year for Chad. Unbelievable. So let's get this guy on the air. World Series of Poker bracelet winner, syndicated columnist, poker news reporter.
Hello.
And hell of a great American, Chad Holloway. How you doing, Chad? Chad, can you hear me? Oh, Chad, I can't hear you. I sort of hear noise in the background. Can you hear me? And Chad's gone. Boy, that was a hell of an intro, too. All right, we'll try that again. I love Skype. I'll tell you what. This is why I love being in the studio at KLAV on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And, of course, on broadcast on the internet, KLAV 12:30 a.m. Because I don't have to worry about the Skype monster. Oh, swear to God, if I could get in there 5 days a week, I'd do it. Let's try this again. Chad Holloway, everybody. Chad.
Hello.
There he is. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, fantastic. I had a great intro for you, and then I lost it because you went poof. That was so sad.
Yeah, Skype can be funny sometimes. You know how the internet is.
Just call it a bitch, and we'll leave it there. I can say that on this show. But, Chad, first, I want to say congratulations to you. This has been probably the most amazing 9 months of your life, I would imagine. What a run you've been on personally and professionally.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a heck of a year, to say the least. I have a birthday coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm going to be 31, so the whole 30, entering the 30s was a scary proposition, but as it turned out, it's been a heck of a year.
Oh, the chicks are going to dig you even more, Chad. See, now you got the older thing going, but you're not too old. You're right in the middle, so you can still go for the 20s and not look bad.
I like to think that this recent success will definitely help in that department.
Just start flashing the bracelet. Maybe keep a copy of your new column coming up. In your pocket. Just whip that out every once in a while. I want to know about this syndicated column you're going to be doing, man. This is awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not it's not a new job or anything. It's just another thing I'll be doing on top of everything else. But it'll be a once a month column that will appear in some newspapers around the country, such as the LA Times and the Chicago Tribune. I'm not quite sure exactly when. I have a deadline the first of every month, and usually takes a week or two for them to get it into the actual paper and stuff. But it'll be in a Sunday edition once a month, and I'm pretty excited about it. Just the exposure, writing for a mass market as opposed to a poker niche will be an interesting challenge, and a good way to help promote poker in the mainstream.
How did this come about?
I actually was contacted by a guy who's involved in that business, and they had a position open up, and he kind of said, I was thinking, who would be perfect for this, and I just happened to see your name on Facebook, and it kind of clicked. He said, there's a poker writer who just won a bracelet. He said it just makes sense. So I like to think winning the bracelet, helped vault my profile a little bit, and I think this was a good example of that.
Well, I'm so happy for you. I cannot wait to see this column coming out, and I know a lot of people are absolutely thrilled to see this happen to you. So congratulations, my friend, and I hope that continues to go well for you.
Thanks. Yeah, like I said, it starts December 1st will be my first deadline, so should ring in the new year with a new and interesting opportunity and challenge.
You know, you you could plug the Mark Hoke Show in there, by the way.
You never know. I gotta figure something to write up every month, so it could happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you're gonna have a few better things to write about than that. Speaking of writing, and we just went through the op-ed that Matt Savage wrote about the reentry events, and had a pretty long discussion about it here to open the show up. A very interesting column where it almost seems like Matt felt like he created Frankenstein here a little bit. I know you had a comment down there, but can you elaborate a little bit more about your feelings about Matt Savage's column?
Yeah, I think Matt Savage, whenever he does an op-ed, it's always powerful. He's such a big figure in the poker world. People take notice, and I was actually surprised to see this op-ed, kind of for the reasons you just mentioned. He's pretty much the man who introduced re-entry tournaments to the poker world. He did it, I think, was at the Commerce, and now it's pretty much become standardized, throughout the industry. And he's kind of saying, whoa, this is kind of running away a little bit. We might want to think about this a little more because it's having in his opinion, an ill effect on the poker world. And I don't necessarily disagree. It's discouraging to go and play a poker tournament, especially when you have a limited bankroll. I'm in that boat myself. Despite the couple of big wins this year, which have been great, I still have to keep a close eye on my bankroll management. I don't have, I can't go and play, you know, buy-ins of thousands of dollars. So I'm looking at the 100, maybe 1,000 or 1,500 here or there. I can be comfortable playing those. But when it comes to, a $1,500 main event where there's unlimited re-entries, or, you can re-enter on 4 starting flights, I'm not prepared or nor wanting to play in an event like that because, it's beyond my bankroll. And in my opinion, when you're playing in tournaments like that, you're going to have some people who are financially secure who can come in and fire as many bullets as they want, which gives them the freedom to gamble more, and I don't have that freedom, and I don't want to play against people who do, if that makes sense. I like it when you get, one bullet, maybe a re-entry, if you bust in the first 4 levels, which is really hard to do and would normally be the result of a cooler. That's fine, but not this unlimited re-entries up through, the end of day 2. And yeah, it's a really big deterrent for me personally. And I can't help but think that if I feel this way, others must too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when the re-entries first started, it was you re-entered one time each day. So if you had 2 or 3 days, you get one chance each day, which I thought that's kind of nice for the poker community because the fluke things do happen early, and you have a chance to maybe come back the next day and you get to hang out a little bit, but and it makes a trip worth it. But now I don't know how you can call some of these event re-entries. They're essentially rebuys.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you hit the nail on the head. It's just a different way of marketing it or branding or spinning it, because it's essentially rebuy. Maybe the only difference is with a rebuy, you stay in the same seat, you just pull out money and they give you chips and you stay there. Re-entry, you get up and you get assigned to a new table in most instances. But yeah, re-entries were designed to give people the opportunity to, if they make a trip somewhere and get unlucky, they can give it another go so their trip wasn't wasted. There'd be nothing worse than, say, traveling to, Foxwoods for a WSOP circuit event and running aces into kings set over set on the second hand of the day and you're out of the tournament. I think reentries are good to help combat that. But, now they have it so that I can play day 1, and if I, make it through with a halfway decent stack, okay, but I can play day 1B, and if I get a bigger stack, I can take that one with me instead. And it's just too much. I'm all for bigger turnouts and what have you, but I agree with Matt Savage that there's got to be a line drawn somewhere. Otherwise, you're sucking money up so fast from the poker economy, you're just going to kill it. And being a member of the poker media, traveling the circuit, I, feel that I've seen signs of that. So I'm definitely in agreement with Matt Savage. Not that reentry should be outlawed per se, but it just need to be, monitored a little bit better, implemented better.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of poker rooms took the reentry when they started adding the multiple reentries in. You're able to drop the rebuy image, which everybody said rebuys they need to go away. They're not. Overall, I mean, for sometimes they're okay, but overall they had such a negative stigma, and you've basically changed the name so it sounds a little better now, and it's really not a good thing for poker. And I know Matt touched on the guarantee situation as well, that everybody's starting to go crazy with these guarantees too. How do you feel about the trend of guarantees at this point?
I think that it's not the greatest time in the poker world. The poker economy is suffering. Obviously, it has been since Black Friday. Going on 3 years now, and putting a guarantee on something is an interesting way to help drum up some publicity. Just look at the Seminole Hard Rock and their $10 million guarantee. Everyone thought there's going to be an overlay at that event, so that's why people flocked to it and ended up surpassing the guarantee by quite a bit. Um, but now look what they're doing too. They're also, oh, it worked. It worked so well. Why don't we just do it again in 6 months? And in my opinion, they're just going to kill the golden goose. And, now it sets a standard that other people are going to want to do guarantees because they think that it's going to draw all this publicity. When, if you look at it recently, there's been quite a few stops lately that have offered an overlay, have missed their guarantees, and, they're eating out of pocket. One that jumps to mind for me was the Full Tilt Poker uh, Galway Festival over in Ireland a few months back. They had a 1 million pound or euro guarantee on the main event, which was 1,000 buy-in, and they missed it by it was quite a bit. I want to say like 140,000. Uh, so I mean that's good for the players, but it's not good. Good publicity and it's not good that the poker tour has to eat that because it might discourage them from putting on future events and what have you. So I think guarantees are good, but there's a fine line. I don't think that some, you know, somebody who doesn't have experience running guaranteed tournaments should, some property, some casino in Vegas or Reno or wherever shouldn't jump into it too quickly or too lightly, thinking that oh, nobody ever misses a guarantee. Let's just slap it on there and they'll come because clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, I think one casino that gets it right is the Borgata. They have done such a great job when they set up each one of their series. They always lead it off with that that $1 million guarantee event. Everybody knows what they're getting into when they get into it, but it always seems it draws so well because everybody's just used to coming to that event. And you're in Atlantic City where right now Borgata is just dominating everything. So they have managed to put together a nice guarantee event at the start of each one of their series that people enjoy. It's worked out well. They always seem to, they shatter those guarantees every time. And it's a great role model in terms of how to set up a tournament series, by leading off with one of those events, but not going crazy with it. I think they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think Borgata does a great job. And I think you touched on it, really well. It's also a matter of throwing these poker tournament series or these festivals and being cognizant of the schedule and putting together tournaments. There's more to it than just saying, oh, let's run a tournament every day or what have you. You got to pay attention to, okay, when is this tournament going to get done? What are the numbers? What does the math say? What other options are there going to be for these players when they bust? We need to, let's schedule something else so they can jump into that and what have you. There's a science to it, and I've seen it. And some places have done a really good job on perfecting it. The Borgata is spectacular. Pretty much every stop on the European Poker Tour has knocked it out of the park. And what's even more impressive is that they're always looking for ways to improve. And I think that's one reason that they have continued to remain one of the premier poker tournament series. For the last, they're in their 10th season now, and it's gotten big and prestigious and strong. I think there's a lot to take away from the EPT, from the Borgata. Places could look to them as an example and definitely improve their own product.
And we've been seeing a lot of other interesting happenings going on out there in the poker world that you guys have been on top of at Poker News, and of course we're on with Chad Holloway. One story that that caught my eye the other day is this situation with Ken Harrell going against Attack Poker, and you wrote a column about that. First, I want to just talk about the situation itself. Can you kind of break that down a little bit more for everybody of what's happening?
Yeah, the situation was brought to my attention about a month ago, and I did a little bit of investigating, contacted all the parties, and wrote a little piece which is up on PokerNews.com now. And I titled it "Ken Harrell versus Attack Poker: A Cautionary Tale of Poker Contracts," because that's really what this is all about. Is a uh, poker contract is the point of contention between Ken Harrell and Attack Poker. Attack Poker is a free-to-play poker site that awards a lot of prizes, one of which was a World Series of Poker main event seat, which Mr. Harrell had won through a promotion, I think it was back in May. So he's from Hawaii. He comes to Vegas. This is, there's certain facts that are facts that both parties agree on that actually happened that we can accept, and then there are things that have been said from each side that we don't know whether or not it's true. Um, so what we do know is that Mr. Harrell came to Vegas. He went to the Attack Poker offices. He had to sign a contract, and he signed it. But this is where it really gets muddled because he was under the impression that he was signing a contract that would provide for future sponsorship. They would put him in some events down the road after the World Series of Poker main event, and in exchange, he would be giving up, 50% of his winnings in the main if he were to win anything, and a lot of other legal mumble jumbo, if you will. And the contract doesn't actually allow for that. I've obtained a copy of it. It's in the article. It's a sponsorship agreement, but it doesn't say any of that. So he signed it, and whether or not he was actually promised those things, it's hard to say. But he was clearly under the impression that that's what was going to happen. So a couple days later, he found out that maybe that wasn't the case. He started to try to inquire more about it. Didn't get any answers. Nobody was responding to him. So he went to the registration at the World Series of Poker and took out the $10,000 and didn't play the main event. Took the $10,000 back to Hawaii, and this, of course, did catch the attention of Attack Poker, and they said, "Whoa, whoa, you can't do that. You need to go play." They're going to do some publicity and stuff like that around this promotion, and so this is where it gets really bitter because the promotion did say in the fine print that you can either accept the $10,000 seat and play in Vegas or $2,500 in cash. So it's become a big he said, she said sort of affair. Now Attack Poker is suing Mr. Harrell for $30,000. And, I'm not a legal expert by any means, but we do have one that contributes to Poker News, an attorney by the name of Mac Verstandig. And he's actually going to write a follow-up piece explaining the legal side of things. He's going to look at the contract, the lawsuit, and kind of lay out what his expert opinion is. So I'm looking forward to that next week. But the story, I tried to boil it down as simply as I could. It's a little more complicated, a little more, tangents here and there. But like I said, you can check that out right now on pokernews.com. It's up on the front page.
Well, and I like the way that you set that up too, because you put in the title a cautionary tale about contracts, and so many players, when something really big happens to them, you look at maybe some of the guys that get to the main event of the World Series, they'll hit a WPT final table or, something along those lines. And all of a sudden people are coming at them and saying, here, we're going to hand you money, just sign this contract. And everyone, if you're not experienced with that stuff, you got to be incredibly careful what you're signing. Mr. Harrell obviously thought he was signing something that, honestly, just looking at the contract, it wasn't there. And you got to be very careful if you make that big score to not go crazy signing papers.
Yeah, it's true. Even I'd say 2007-ish, give or take, especially the years before that. But right around there is when I think poker sponsorship sort of started to change. It was still there in 2008, 2009, 2010, even in 2011. Of course, it up and disappeared with Black Friday. but there's not as nearly as much money in poker sponsorships as there used to be. I mean, it's a fraction of what it used to be. I've heard the stories from people I've worked with in the industry that, back in the day, 2006, 2007, where money was flowing like a waterfall, if you're going deep in the main event, if you're in the top 27, you could get somebody from Full Tilt Poker, Poker Stars come up to you and say, here, we'll give you an extra $250,000 if you know, agreed to wear a patch throughout the rest of the final table. And that's an incredible amount of money. Nowadays, it's I don't even know what they would get. I don't think did Ryan Reese, who won the main event this year, I don't even know if he was sporting a patch of any kind.
Yeah, he didn't sign anything.
Right. So I don't think that's him being picky or anything. I just don't think the opportunities were there, and if they were, they certainly weren't even close to being on par with a six-figure sponsorship. I think I had overheard once that the people who patch up with 888, which we've seen the last couple of years, their little package consists of some travel. They get bought into a few events, over in Europe when they go in between the the final table being set and then the November 9, they get to travel, play the WSOP Europe or what have you, and keep any winnings they may win in those tournaments. But that's not getting $250,000 and saying, here you go. That's it's still a nice perk, but it's just it's morphed sponsorship in poker, and now more than ever, you got to be weary if you're getting a sponsorship opportunity in poker. I would definitely just take it with a grain, be skeptical, cover your bases, do your due diligence, because it's really rare, and you don't want people taking advantage of you. You don't want to be taking advantage of a company. You want it to be a fair and mutually beneficial arrangement. So hopefully you will get poker sponsorship if you're a poker pro, because I think that's a major goal. But if and when that day comes, just learn from this tale, learn from Mr. Harrell's experience, and just be careful.
Yeah, and and I know the guys at Attack Poker. They seem like pretty straightforward guys there. So, I'm reserving judgment until I get some more details about this, because I know Harrell did an interview with my good friend Nate Dallin, who's going to be on the show later. So we'll probably talk to him a little bit about that. But apparently he didn't do himself a whole lot of favors in that interview either. I heard a lot of negative feedback about him from that interview.
Yeah, I don't know Ken very well. I've spoken to him, in regards to this interview. I've listened to the same interview you have. And Walt, I didn't write an op-ed. I've certainly formed my own opinion. I'm not too quick to share it, but I will say that, I think Mr. Harrell is, he strongly believes in his side of the story. He's very passionate about it, and, he's definitely ruled by that. I think he lets that blind him a little bit to the facts of the law and, exactly what's involved in a contract. But, he's very passionate about standing up for what he thinks is right. And, I think he tries to get that point across in the interview you're talking about, and doesn't necessarily do a great job of it. But, I think it's interesting, because it's a very, like I said, it's a he said, she said type of affair. So it's drawing lines, and it almost makes you pick a side. And, that was one of the most challenging things about writing this piece, but also one of the more fun things too. I tried to present both sides as evenly as I could and let readers form their own opinion. And, I've been enjoying reading the comments on the piece too, because I think, there's been some people who are saying, Mr. Harrell, I feel bad for him. He got screwed over. And then there's other people who are like, whoa, no, Attack Poker is the good guy here. They're getting screwed over. So, it's interesting to see how people are interpreting this situation.
Yeah, I mean, and what it's going to come down to is what was in the contract.
Right.
Unless he recorded a meeting with those guys, it's going to come down to what's on paper. And, if he didn't do what was on the paper, he's screwed. I mean,
Right. And Walt, I can't say for sure. My inkling is that the piece that Mac Verstandig, Poker News' lawyer contributor, is going to do, I think it's going to echo what you just said, that, the contract says this is what is going to be interpreted in court. And, Mr. Harrell could very well get the short end of the stick.
Yeah. We shall see. Well, another big happening going on, Chad, is the online poker, or online gambling, should say, kicking off in New Jersey. Have you guys heard anything at Poker News about what's been happening with that? How's everybody been rating what's happening there?
We are really going to be keeping an eye open and writing some pieces the start of this week. It was the soft launch. It started on Thursday. It's a little 5-day period to make sure that everything's going right before they launch into the whole thing. And I haven't heard really any bad news, which I think is good news in this case. I haven't been digging into the forums by any means, but nothing's really come across my desk or among the colleagues that I work with that saying that there was any major hiccups. Yeah, I think the Golden Nugget faced a little bit of, I don't know what it was exactly, some paperwork that wasn't filled out properly or what have you, and had trouble getting a license, and then they had their poker site thing turned off. But it doesn't sound major. It just seems like they missed a few steps here and there that they can correct. But it sounds like WSOP.com has been going well. Ultimate Poker, I know, is excited about New Jersey opening up. I'm excited about New Jersey opening up and what it means for the poker industry. I'm not excited about it as a poker journalist per se, because while it is exciting, it's actually kind of boring and monotonous to write about. And obviously it's in the news and it's dominating a lot of my time. But writing about licenses and all these things, I just want to see online poker back in the U.S. and be happy to write about it. But I look forward to the day where I don't have to focus on the little step by steps and can just enjoy online poker in the States.
Well, put some grindettes in the article or something. Get some nice pictures of them, put them in there. That'll spice it up a little bit for you.
Yeah, it's not too bad. If you don't mind, I'd actually like to. I just thought of this. Speaking of interesting articles, I have one that's going to run tomorrow that I am extremely excited about. Perhaps my favorite article I've ever written.
Really? Wow.
It's true. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to go down to Texas. I had tracked down a gentleman by the name of Bob Hooks, who was one of the old school Texas road gamblers. He traveled with Doyle Brunson, Johnny Moss. He's really good friends with Johnny Moss. He's in his mid 80s now. He is living down in Texas, and I got to go and sit down with him for almost 2 days, interviewed him, talked to him, and he's actually really interesting. The poker world should know about him, and I'm excited to tell his story. So I have a feature-length article going to be on pokernews.com tomorrow about Bob Hooks, who, like I said, is a Texas road gambler. He was the first Binion's Horseshoe poker room manager and was there for the first ever World Series of Poker. He played in all the World Series of Pokers, during the 70s. He finished runner-up in 1975 to Brian Roberts, who was just inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame. And the stories that this man told were just incredible. Sitting and talking poker history with him was just incredible. I mean, it was one of the highlights of my poker journalist career, and really excited about this piece. And I hope the poker world takes notice, because he certainly deserves some credit that he's missed out on in the last few decades.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that. Well, and one thing I wanted to ask you too about the online situation, just to get back to that real quick, is the situation when PokerStars getting put on hold, and how frustrating is this for a lot of people, or is everybody just, right now the reaction is we're playing, we've got a little bit of a base of players here, it is what it is. I mean, that situation is just getting insane, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of money being pushed around in lobbying efforts. All these different casinos have a stake in online poker in New Jersey, and they all know that PokerStars is the biggest, the best, the most experienced, and it only makes sense that they'd want to keep them out. They don't want to give them a piece of this pie, because they know if they do, they're probably going to eat the whole thing up. And the big question is, will they be able to keep PokerStars out permanently? I mean, obviously they've done a good enough job to delay them from participating in the soft launch and getting a license up until this point. But, I'm hopeful. I think PokerStars is hopeful. I think a lot of the poker media is hopeful that, PokerStars is eventually going to get into the market, and it's going to be a great day when that happens for poker, both, online and just the industry as a whole. Because PokerStars is, a great company. And they said if they get a license, they're going to build a $10 million poker room in Atlantic City, which if you see that, you're going to see some great tournaments come along with it. I think it's just, it'd be very exciting. And I would love to go to Atlantic City to play in a poker room like that. It's just very exciting, but there's a lot of forces trying to work against it. Forces, in my opinion, that are totally wrong. Just it's frustrating knowing the poker industry as well as we do and seeing what's going on. But to the poker or to the general masses, they really don't see it. They don't know any better, so to speak.
It's like keeping the best player out of the game when you're on the playground. You don't want to have that guy that's going to come in and dunk on you all day long. You just say, well, we don't, we have enough players, you can't play. And it's almost like like I said, it's almost like a kid's jealousy thing going on right there. And, I can understand they're protecting their business interests, but it's pretty frustrating.
I think you're right though. It's on par with that, because it's almost how foolish it is. It's something that I think everybody can relate to and understand, but I think everyone also, when you put it that way, realizes, that is quite silly.
Yeah. And, of course, away from the online stuff, we've had some very interesting things going on the poker tables as well. I mean, Philip Grissom going out and winning the back-to-back high roller events, and we just saw Alan Kessler winning his Player of the Year on the Heartland Poker Tour, and Tony Dunst winning a WPT title today. I mean, what an insane couple of months it's been, but pretty exciting for everybody too.
Yeah, I mean,
and of course the World Championship. We didn't get to talk about that yet either. So.
Yeah, that's true. You said Philip Grissom, and it's working in the poker industry, traveling the circuit, both in the States and in Europe. There's a German domination that's happening that the poker masses should certainly know about. You mentioned Philip Grissom, who, Philbort is his nickname. He's tearing it up, obviously winning 2 of the Alpha 8s. Another one that people should really know, and I feel for some reason that he doesn't get the credit he deserves, is Nicholas Heinecker. Mm-hmm. He won I think it was the Guangdong Millions tournament earlier this year for 4.1 million or something. He's also online poker's biggest winner for 2013 right now with another, I don't know what it is, 4.6 million. Jeez. Looks like he'll finish the year with that title. He plays and wins these high roller events. He's going to finish 2013 with, 10 million in winnings. And what's even more impressive is he's doing half of it live and half of it online. It's just, he's an incredible player that people should really know. If I could give an MVP or Player of the Year award just as a whole, I think for 2013 he would be it.
Yeah, that is quite impressive. And and let me ask you real quick before I let you go about the obviously the WSOP main event, Ryan Reese's win. There's been a lot of interesting reaction to Ryan winning, some of the comments he made. But I tell you what, I think we need a guy like that that's willing to put himself out there a little bit. I mean, he may end up eating his words at some point, but he has been playing sensational poker, and we can always use a good new young gun. We know Phil Hellmuth has always been shooting his mouth off for so long after he was the youngest main event champion. Now Ryan at 23, could he be headed down that same road?
I like to think. I agree with you. I think it's good either way. Love him or hate him. I know Ryan. I knew him before he won the main event. He's confident. He's sure of himself. He's sure of his abilities now. He's sure of them going forward. And that was before he even played the main event. So making the November 9, then winning the World Championship. I imagine that it's amplified it 1,000-fold. He's probably the most confident person in the world right now. And of course, there's a very thin line between confidence and cockiness or arrogance. And I think people, misconstrue the two quite a bit. And I'm not saying, I'm not sticking up for Ryan and saying it's one or the other. I think he's probably, shown a little of both here and there. But, if I was 23 and I won the World Series of Poker main event, I would probably have a pretty big head too. I think there's a lot of humbleness, a lot of wisdom that comes with getting older, and I'm sure that as he does, he will, or if he doesn't, we'll have another Phil Hellmuth to entertain, the next 2 generations of poker players, which is a good thing. Because look what Hellmuth has done for the game. Characters. Poker is always about characters. I've always said that, and I think Ryan Reese has the potential to be one. He's going to be a good ambassador. He's already said he's going to travel the circuit. So, whatever his attitude is or his personal beliefs, I think his win is good for the game, and I look forward to seeing his year as champion and how that goes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Guys win a bracelet and they get all snotty, and you have to introduce them as a World Series poker bracelet winner. And, they're running around all high rolling and hanging out with the big dogs, I don't know anybody like that.
I tweeted something along the lines after he won. I said, I won the first bracelet of the 2013 World Series of Poker, and you won the last. Way to close it out, or something like that.
That's great.
Just as a little joke. Of course, obviously his win was a lot bigger and a lot more notable than mine, but it was still exciting to see.
Yeah, and of course everybody's still proud of you for that, Chad, and of course you've taken it very well, and hopefully everybody in the Poker News team hasn't gotten too jealous yet, but an unbelievable year for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. And next time you get out in Vegas, you got to make sure you keep Wednesday open so you can come on my show.
Yeah, congratulations too on the new show. I haven't had the chance to speak to you, much since this summer when we were both in Vegas, but I know you relocated out there, and it sounds like things are going good. Really excited to have your show on Poker News. I've listened there, and just really happy, really excited for you. We've known each other for a long time now, so I'm excited to have the opportunity to be on the Mark Hoke Show now for the first time, and hopefully it's not the last.
Oh, absolutely not. Sometime you're going to move out here, Chad. You're going to give up and do it. I know it.
It's a possibility. I'm certainly going to move soon, because I'll tell you what, the Wisconsin cold winters are getting old. I definitely want to move, but as we've talked about, tonight, there's a lot of moving parts in the poker industry right now. I'm going to wait a few months, see how things shake out, and see, where would be the best opportunity to move. But definitely we'll be spending more time in Vegas either way in the coming months.
Well, get out here, man. Let's have a good time.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Of course, then you can follow Chad on Twitter at Chad A. Holloway, the inspiration behind my A and my name on Twitter. So thank you, Chad. And, of course, you got Poker News on Twitter and Facebook. And, of course, make sure you go to pokernews.com. And, big article coming out from Chad tomorrow. So, Chad, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. It's always great to talk to you.
You too, sir. Thanks for having me. And I will talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
Sounds good, buddy. Take care.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. There you go. Chad Holloway, everybody. Always fun having Chad on the show. I'll tell you, great guy. And can't be happier for him and all the success he's got coming. And I can't wait to see the syndicated column. How about that? Score big for Chad Holloway. Boom. All right. So, hey, don't forget, we should be hearing from Alan Kessler at some point, maybe the next 10 or 15 minutes. We've got Nate Dowland's going to pop in here as well. Maybe get sneak Scott Long in here too. It's going to be a crazy time here on the Mark Hoke Show. And, of course, coming up at 5 o'clock Pacific, which is less than an hour away, is event number 2 of the Off-Tilt Poker Tables Tournament Series. You can win yourself a brand-new poker table, so get signed up. I know we get new guy Jim DeGreat. Welcome. Thanks for joining us in the Mark Hoke Show home game. Appreciate that. And you can join up, too. Club ID is 629454. Password is Roguewire on PokerStars.net in the home games tab, so make sure you join us there. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to step back, take a break, and we come back. We should be hearing hopefully from Alan Kessler, and I've got Scott Long in the bullpen just in case, too, so it should be a fun show, so stick around, everybody. We will be right back.
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at doubledigitcovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at doubledigitcovers.com.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long as you choose between black, red, or even green cloth, but that's about it. When you choose to play off tilt, it's not just another table, it's your table. The same price gets you a fully custom designed table that reflects your style and game. Off tilt makes it easy to design a truly one-of-a-kind custom poker table that'll give you home table advantage. Sure, Off Tilt could name their tables for marketing purposes, but why? It's not ours. We don't play on it. And to be honest, there are over 1,000 named Off Tilt tables worldwide, including the WSOP, the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, the Jonathan Papelbon, as well as Julie's, Chris's, Scott's, Amber's, Tristan's, just to name a few. So let us add your name to the list and deliver a truly custom-crafted, furniture-quality poker table worthy of your game. Visit www.offtiltpokertables.com or call Brian Knott today at 262-490-3812. We'll show you why Off Tilt is the only way to play.
Win your share of $50,000 in cash and prizes and get into the game for free with the Nevada Poker League. NPL has 17 locations in the Las Vegas area for you to play poker with your friends and neighbors. New season starts early October. Find a location near you at NevadaPokerLeague.com and get in the action tonight.
Want to be a millionaire? Then see if you can become fantasy sports royalty in the 2013 Fantasy Football Millionaire Grand Final at DraftKings.com. Play for free or in paid contests for real money, plus games last one day, so there's no long-term commitment. Thousands of winners have won over 10 million prizes on DraftKings.com, and now it's your turn to cash in. Go to DraftKings.com right now, enter the promo code Hoke, and get a 100% deposit bonus and a free entry into the Millionaire Grand Final qualifier. So don't wait. Crown yourself the king of fantasy sports at DraftKings.com.
Turn up the electricity on your computer by going to Roguewire.com. News, sports, current events, and the internet home of The Mark Hoke Show, plus much more. Like us on Facebook and follow Roguewire on Twitter to stay up to date and let the sparks fly off your screen. Check it out, Roguewire.com.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages, or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Missouri stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch on October 21st, 2013. 9 will become 1, one way or another. Final9comic.com.
The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water, and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out, no matter what you're doing, when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at arcticblu.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Doesn't that just give you the willies? Love it. John Lindquist, production manager there at KLAV1230am.com, the terrestrial radio home of the Mark Hoke Show. Airing live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And also replayed on Friday nights at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time here in Las Vegas. So you can tune us in on that radio dial, 1230am.com, or, of course, on the internet, www.klav1230am.com. Hey, and look at that, just in time. Perfect. I've got Alan Kessler on the line. Alan, how are you? Alan, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear Alan. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I'm sure we'll get the chainsaw back on here shortly. I recognize that number. But Alan, I can't hear you. We'll have to have a call back here. So give me a call back, my friend. We'll get Alan on here in just a second. But the new Heartland Poker Tour Player of the Year, congratulations to him. Let's try this one more time, see if we get Alan on. Alan, can you hear me?
Hello?
There he is.
I can hear you perfectly.
There we go. Alan, congratulations, my friend, on an amazing year for the Heartland Poker Tour. Way to go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it hit another final table today, correct?
No, really weird situation today. I came in short and I doubled to like 100 and some thousand. We're playing, who are we playing? 2 and 4,000. And this guy, obviously an amateur, he was kind of tilted. He just lost an all-in for ace-9 against king-9.
Ooh.
And I knew he was going to, he was from the small blind. Now he's got the button and I'm in the big blind. So I knew he was going to raise. So he raised to 12,000. I overshipped all in with ace-jack for like 120,000. And he thinks. And finally he says, I have to call here. And he turns over ace-9 offsuit for like a $250,000 pot.
Jesus.
On the beginning of day 2. It's like a huge thing. And for me, I mean, I probably, make the at least the top 20 with that stack. Anyway, he hit the 9 on right in the window.
Oh.
An ace-9 offsuit.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry, Alan, but
that's why I play these events. So I mean, you get things like that happen all the time in these kind of weird, off-the-wall places.
Yeah, but
in the middle of Michigan.
Well, you know what? The great thing is, Alan, you've had such a successful year out there on the Heartland Poker Tour. Take us through this year because you have a bunch of final tables. You've been just seemingly every time we turn around and the Heartland Poker Tour's got an event going, you're near the top of the leaderboard every time. What's been your key to success on there?
I didn't really play many of them. Like my friend Stan Slabowski, he had his goal the whole year was to play every event and become Player of the Year. And I just picked and choose the ones I wanted, like that had slot machines that I liked, or some casino that I liked, like it one at the Commerce, whatever. Anyway. the few that I picked, I made like 3 or 4 final tables in a row. It was like really weird. So now all of a sudden I'm in the race against somebody that's played every single event. They have like, I don't know, 27 events or something the whole year. So then it became like a challenge for me against Stan to try and get this thing. So I played like the last 8 in a row or something. And I pretty much coasted into it. I was the only one that, of any of the people that were in the running that made day 2 in this last tournament. So nobody could really catch me.
Well, and a lot of people, when we hear about your play, some people say, well, Alan's just kind of a min casher. He just kind of tries to hang around and so on. But you put up consistent numbers all the time, Alan. What do you say to somebody that has that criticism of you?
I don't know. If you look at my Hendon mob and just run down the list, I have like 200 caches, but close to a third of my caches are final tables.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where these people are getting these numbers from, but I think I have like well over 50 final tables out of the 200 caches.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe more than that. I forget the exact amount.
Yeah,
I made like 5 World Series final tables main event. I've made like 5 World Poker Tour main event final tables. So I do go deep in a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing career for you, Alan, and this is just one of those things that I think is going to get you even more out there in the public eye. I mean, what do you do with this now that you've won it?
If you look at my stats, I just started playing these tournaments like around 2005. But if you look at the Hendon mob is kind of confusing to use since they redid it. But if you look at each year, it's very, very consistent. Like if you look, it's always 6 figures, and it's always very consistent year to year. And a lot of these other players that have 1 year and then blank. I don't want to name any players in particular, but there's a few that come to mind. Like they have 1 successful year, and then they'll be like a 20,000 year, 30,000, 50,000. After like a 700,000. Mine are all very, very consistent, like mid 6 figures every single year. Some are higher than others, but I have very, very steady, very consistent results.
What would you tell poker players when they look at your results and how you go about your business? What are some of the keys to your success and this consistency that you seem to have all the time?
Well, I have a very tight image, and I try and take advantage of that. I also I like to go to off-the-wall places. Like Venetian runs tournaments all the time. I very rarely play a Venetian tournament because, number one, they're pretty low buy-in usually. And number two, even if it's like a $300 or $400 buy-in, you're playing against really, really strong Las Vegas players. But like a $1,500 tournament in Michigan has a way softer field than even like a $400 tournament at the Venetian. It's really hard to explain, but the things that you see, it's like, so I pick my spots. I try to go to these off-the-wall places, and I also go places where I have something else to do. Like I'm not just going there to play the tournament. I like to go places where they have like a big casino where I can play machines or play slots or do something else, or they have some other stuff. Like New Orleans has a lot of things going on, or different venues where it's like off the beaten trail. I don't like to play against like really strong fields. Like it's hard to describe, but I like certain venues are much easier for me to navigate than like any. Even though I did play that Stratosphere HPT last week, it was the toughest field you'd ever imagine for an HPT event, and I still wound up in the top 20, and I lost a huge race to make like probably the final table with. I had ace queen against pocket jacks of Dylan Horton for a huge all-in with like 20 people left. So I mean, I just pick my spots. I try to play where I'm acting last in the betting order so that I can react to other people. I also try to make moves against people. I call them chronic raisers, when they just keep raising and raising and raising. I'll re-raise that type of person because they know that I'm so tight. I have to have something really good. So I try to exploit my image, try and play against the chronic raisers, try and play in position, things like that.
Yeah. Now, Alan, I was thinking of you the other day because I was over at I cashed my paycheck at Wild Wild West, believe it or not, and I hit for 100,000 comp points. And I'm just thinking Alan would have been so proud of me. That was a big win.
Oh, the Wild West?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean exactly?
100,000 comp points. Every 1,000 points is $1. So I got some free buffets out, and I'm just thinking, man, Alan would have loved this. I wish he'd have been there.
Yeah, I've played in that casino. They used to have this thing at the bar where you could play like poker bingo, where every 4 of a kind you get one spot on the bingo card. And I filled up the card, and I forget exactly how it worked, but I did really well on that promotion. But they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, you rule
this.
Nice
little casino, though.
You rule this town, Alan. We all know it. Yeah. So when are you coming home, Alan? Because I want to get you on my other radio show on KLAV. When do you come back?
I come back tomorrow morning. The problem is I had to fly to Flint, Michigan, which is like 90 miles from here or something, and because that was the only nonstop flight from Las Vegas. There was a few that go to some other airport, like Detroit or Saginaw, but then it's a multi-connection flight, and you're still an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So I took the nonstop to Flint, and it's like you're in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I tried to go to another casino today. There's not another casino within 100 miles of this casino.
I know, that's weird up there. I was just up in Michigan with the Mid-States Poker Tour event, and all those small airports up there in Michigan, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I forgot to say about the Heartland Poker Tour, they give you so much play in these tournaments that if you're a reasonably good player, you're going to do extremely well in this tournament. I mean, the structure is really nice. You get 30,000 chips. They play every single possible level that there can be. They don't skip anything. Like if you go to like any major, like even like the World Series circuit or Venetian or anywhere, you always find a gap somewhere in the structure. There's no gaps. Day 2 is an hour level from all the way to the end. It's really well set up thing.
Yeah,
so
and
it suits my play exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it is perfect for you, that's for sure.
We're starting at 5,100 with 30,000 chips, and then we play every possible level after that.
Nice. Yeah, so get out there. I mean, obviously you can try and dethrone Alan Kessler, the new Heartland Poker Tour Player of the Year. As of today, I'm very happy for you, Alan. And real quick before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you got to look at Matt Savage's op-ed piece that he was talking about the re-entry tournaments.
I wanted to bring that up, actually.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
If anybody follows me on Twitter or on Facebook, I posted yesterday about unlimited re-entries at Bellagio 10K. I'm extremely against that. Let me explain the reasons I'm against it. The problem is there's a lot of recreational players in Las Vegas, even though it's Poker Town, whatever, and they run many satellites. But the problem is if a satellite type player is dissuaded from playing that tournament, that satellite, because they know even if they win that one seat, they're playing against like 6 or 7 Dan Negranos, 6 or 7 Doc Sands, 6 or 7 Vanessa Phelps. The field is like completely stacked against them, where the other player is going to just push them all in with any kind of a draw and just have their free will to keep rebuying and trying to get a big stack. And they're playing on like basically scared money one stack. It's a really tilted playing field for a $10,000 buy-in. Like I don't mind it for something like the Heartland Poker Tour where it's multiple start days and people can re-enter as many times as they want. I mean, there's multiple ways people can get in these tournaments. They can keep playing satellites. They can do whatever they want, and it's not a big buy-in. It's only $1,600. But once you get to these like $10,000, $15,000 buy-ins, my opinion is it should be one entry, possibly one entry and one re-entry, and that's it. Anything more than that, it's just too big of an advantage for these deep-pocketed pros that are just going to take advantage of people. And I think it stops people from even wanting to play. Like Bellagio used to have the number one venue, and they went to this re-entry thing, and now they're basically down to one World Poker Tour because people have stopped going to these events. I mean, it's a really bad thing for poker. It really makes the field in the tournament much tougher, and it also stops just a recreational player from taking a shot. Like I talked to somebody today that played in the event last year, and he said he would never play in a Bellagio event, main event that's re-entry because he didn't feel comfortable playing against people that have 5 or 6 buy-ins behind them.
Yeah.
So anyway, I posted this on my Facebook and on Twitter. If you could just respond to my Twitter account that you're against this, or that even if you're for it, just so I'm presenting this to the World Poker Tour and to Bellagio, trying to get them to limit it to one entry and one re-entry, which I think is more than fair for a $10,000 buy-in.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's,
But if people can go to my Facebook. It's just Alan Kessler, ALLEN Kessler on Facebook, and they can there's been like 100 comments already, almost unanimously against this format. And also, if they just want to respond to the post I made on Twitter yesterday, that's fine also. But I'm trying to present them with an alternative, not to have unlimited reentry in a $10,000 buy-in event. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's too much. And I mean, and I can speak to you that, I would never play a satellite to get into a tournament like that. I don't have the bankroll to get into a mess like that with everybody. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying now too. It's just becoming a rebuy.
That everybody's got one shot, then you might want to take a shot at a satellite,
right,
because
exactly.
At least you're on an even playing field with everybody else. But who wants to play against 6 Daniel Negreanos or 6 Vanessa Phelps? I mean, it's a ridiculous concept on those huge buy-in tournaments, to have to play in a field that's really tough to begin with, and then to have to play 6 of the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on the other side of the coin, if you happen to be at their table and they just keep shoving all in with these random hands, you have a huge advantage versus the rest of the field also, because your table is going to have piles of chips, because Dana Negreanu is just dumping off chips trying to get a huge stack in the tournament, or Vanessa Phelps or whoever else. It's just a really bad system.
Yeah, so, well, we'll see if everybody can get this changed or not, but I know I saw a lot of posts on that, so.
I would really appreciate if people could post on my Facebook or on my Twitter. I put it out yesterday, so I'm going to send the results right to Adam Plisko, the World Poker Tour, and also to Bellagio.
All right, so
if people can do that, I would really appreciate it.
All right, so hop on that, everybody. If you think Alan's right or wrong, get on Facebook and Twitter and let him know.
You could also tag that on your Facebook, like copy that thread or share it, or however you do that. I'm not sure how you do that.
Sure.
I would appreciate that.
I will be glad to do that for you, Alan. Well, I'll tell you, I'll let you get back to hanging around in Michigan, but I want to thank you for calling in real quick on short notice, and once again, congratulations.
Yeah, I tried to get one of the HBT announcers on, but they're nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, well, you know what? They'll run into me soon enough. It's all good. You're the star today, Alan.
Anytime you want to call me, I'm usually in Vegas. If you're on that local Vegas show, that's fine.
All right. Well, I want to get you and Raymond Davis on that show together. That's my goal.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right, we'll get that worked out. Well, Alan, good luck to you. I will speak to you again soon, my friend. Thanks so much for calling in.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Alan Kessler, everybody. The Heartland Poker Tour Player of the Year. Boom. Casino Examiner asking, what is Kessler's secret video poker system? I'm going to find out. I want to talk to Alan about it as soon as possible. So, all right, and give me 1 second here, because I have lots of people trying to reach me all at once. So bear with me for a moment. I want to say hi to Scott Long real quick and get him on here. And Nate Dowland is also going to be ready to fire this up too, and we'll get him on the show as well. Boy, oh boy, I'm short for guests, and then all of a sudden, boom, everybody shows up, and they're like, oh, let's get on the Mark Hoke Show, because it's just such a cool place to be. So we're going to talk to Scott Long at AM Magazine. I know he was just finishing up his event out at Thunder Valley, so we'll get him on the show here and say hi to him, see how he's doing. It'll be the first time he's been on the new show, or the new named show. Of course, we did a regular show on Wednesday, but there's some neat stuff coming with the show. I'm very excited. Oh my God, I'm thrilled to death. So, but once again, make sure you guys don't forget to sign up for the podcast. By the way, if you haven't done that, it's Mark Hoke Show on Podbean. You can also find me on iTunes right now. I would love to have you get subscribed for that. But I want to say hi to this gentleman here, because I haven't spoken to him for a while. He is Scott Long of AM Magazine. Scott, what's up?
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, hasn't it?
I missed you. You
not as much as I've missed you.
Really? I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Well, Scott, you've been around at Thunder Valley doing your thing out there. What's happening with you?
Yeah, keeping busy as always. We were out there for our last annual poker tour event of 2013 at Thunder Valley. Always a terrific host for us. And then we're gearing up to announce our 2014 schedule very soon, and we'll be back out at Thunder Valley twice next year, including our NTF World Championship, which is going to be in August out at that great resort.
Ooh, I'm in Las Vegas now, Scott. I'm not far away. Just saying.
Not too far.
Not too
Easy
far.
flight.
Could pay you a visit. Well, what do you have planned for the tour in 2014? What are we going to be looking at?
What we did in 2014 is we're trying to make it more inclusive for some smaller properties that otherwise haven't been able to afford a branded tour event. So that's been getting a lot of buzz with some of our smaller properties. So we are putting together the schedule. Like I said, we'll announce the initial stops here in the January issue of the magazine. But very excited that we're going to be able to take the NTF Poker Tour brand to more places next year, and some places, like I said, that probably never thought we could have an event. So that's going to be very exciting for us, and hopefully for our partners and for our for players in those rooms.
Are you getting anywhere near Vegas, Scott? Are you going to be here soon?
We will be. I can't quite say right now. Yeah, we're
Darn it. I almost got the scoop. You were so close.
I wish I could tell you right now, but I can't. No, but yeah, we're certainly trying, and we have some stuff in the works that just isn't quite finalized yet.
Well, I'm going to fire this question at you. We've been talking about Matt Savage's op-ed on Poker News with his feelings about re-entry tournaments now, and I'm going to fire this one at you too. Has it gotten out of hand at this point?
Re-entry tournaments?
Yes.
Versus freeze out or rebuys?
Yeah.
I don't not out of hand. I don't think I'd go that far. I mean, here's the thing with re-entries is that everybody is struggling now to have good prize pools. Unless you're a real established room and you ended up with a good spot on the calendar where nobody else is nipping at your heels, everybody's trying to get more entries in there. And re-entry allows that to happen and get more players in there. So I guess I could see why some people might be a little disappointed in it or upset about it. But overall, I think it's good for the game to try to get as many players in that tournament as possible.
Well, and I think it's been very interesting with how so many rooms are popping up lately. We've been seeing more and more casinos opening, and online presences are now coming in. And you guys at Ante Up are kind of on the ground floor of all this. What are you seeing in terms of the competitive nature of the poker rooms at this point? Are we starting to see maybe a little bit too much competition out there that some of the rooms are suffering? I know a couple here in Vegas that I'm very surprised that aren't doing as well as you would think. What are some of the things you're seeing out there in the industry as a whole at this point?
Well, the first thing I would say is that there's never too much competition. I think that's a fallacy that I think some people let themselves believe when things aren't going well. Competition is always good for everyone. The key is for rooms to be as creative as possible to react to market conditions. And when new rooms open, they just need to be a little bit more creative in keeping the players they have, staking out some part of the industry that they can hold on to and grow. And the rooms that are creative will continue to bring people in more or less. And the rooms that just throw up their arms and say, hey, I can't, there's just too much competition out there, are the ones that probably weren't going to survive anyhow. So I'm just going to gloss it over because there are potentially some negative effects for folks when new rooms open, particularly if there's a room 5 minutes from your house and a new room opens up 30 minutes away and takes all the business, then that's a bad thing for you personally, but it's a good thing for the poker industry in general. And managers just and their bosses, more importantly, I think, need to do what they can do to make sure that the room remains vibrant.
Who are some of the ones you've seen the most creativeness out of at this point?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot there.
I did.
Don't know off the top of my mind whether there's some names that I want to throw out there, but But I will say, as you know, I'm on the road, a little bit more than a third of the year now, stopping at rooms, and I can tell within 5 minutes talking to a poker room manager whether they are in it for the long haul or whether they're not going to be able to make it. And I think some of it, and some of the conversations I had on some of my recent trips really come down to this: is ego going to get in the way? And I talked to some managers that say, hey, we're always doing $1,100 buy-ins. I don't think our room can attract the $1,100 player anymore, so we're going to drop our main events down to $550 or something like that. And I think that's a very successful, necessary step for some rooms. And there are other rooms out there that will not make that step because they're going to let ego get in the way, and they're going to continue to miss guarantees. They're going to continue to attract small fields, and eventually really die of ego. But if anything, I think if you check your ego at the door and react to what works, then you're going to be all right. And fortunately, I think there's a lot of rooms I'm talking to that see it that way as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, you certainly don't want to be, the little dog in the yard, but at the same time, if you're the little dog in the yard, you gotta realize that you're not going to be able to act like the big dog until you build yourself up a little bit more. It's just common sense. So, I think it's going to be pretty exciting here now, and especially with the new tool of online poker showing up in a couple states, and hopefully more as it goes through. How that fits into the picture as well. I'm waiting for comp points and all sorts of fun stuff coming up on some of these sites, I would hope.
Yeah, and I think the online reemergent is a great example of this. I think all of us know that the online market just can't be sustained in these state-by-state things. It's going to have to eventually become some kind of compact between states. But in the meantime, they will take what we can get. But I also think there's probably some ego involved in some of these online sites, and the ones that readjust their expectations to what the market really can provide are going to do quite well. And the players that take advantage of those ones are really going to enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be fun here over the next few months to see what happens. That is for sure. And Scott, other than the tour, what else is going on with you? What's new with Ante Up Magazine and you and Chris?
We're always on a ship somewhere, so we're getting ready to leave on our next Ante Up cruise here just after the Thanksgiving holiday. And we will have 5 cruises next year. It's our biggest schedule yet. Very excited with our schedule next year because we've added lots of new port stops, a couple of new departure ports, and really doing some creative stuff. We really don't want that brand to get stale. So we're always trying to do something new. So next year we're excited. After this one's coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to be sailing out of Los Angeles next year for the first time. Very excited about the West Coast. That'll be March 30th. We're going to do a transatlantic cruise next year, 13 nights from Fort Lauderdale to England for only $850 or so, I think. So for folks that have some time and want to go to Europe, that's going to be a great way to do it. And we're also going to be sailing out of Texas for the first time next year. A lot of players there that we want to reach. So we look forward to doing that next October. And the whole schedule is on anteupcruises.com. And I also forgot to mention we're doing one in the dead of summer next year too, which actually we just had some teachers booked this week, and those are the ones that have been begging me for years, ever since we started the cruise program, to do one in the summer when they're off, or the kids are off really out of school. So we're doing that next year as well too. So very excited with the schedule, and hope to see a lot of people on all 5 of those cruises next year.
Awesome. Well, now we got to do the East Coast West Coast thing. So when you do this LA thing, keep me in mind. I'll come around if you want me to swab the poop deck or something. It's all good. Dude, you're laughing so hard. Man. That's unbelievable. All right. Well, hey, Scott. Well, hey, I wanted to thank you for calling in. I want to make sure I got you on the show here, while you get this great event going on in Thunder Valley. And, and we hadn't gotten to talk for a while. So we'll get you on the show a little bit more as we move forward here. All right.
Excellent. Well, glad you're back on the air, and it's always good to talk to you, and wish you the best of luck as you continue to grow your brand as well, Mark.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Scott, thank you for calling in. I'm very happy to talk to you, my friend. Take care.
Excellent. Take care. Have a good day.
All right, there you go. Scott Long, Ante Up Magazine. Boy, the cruises, how about that? That's pretty bomb diggity. And get in there and have some fun. You can go Texas and L.A. and, of course, the ones going out of Florida. That's pretty cool. So make sure you check it out at wow. Make sure you check it out at anteupmagazine.com. All right, we're going to take a break, and Nate Dowlin's going to join us, and we're going to be getting into the Off-Tilt Poker Tables Tournament Series event number 2 coming up. We got some Hold'em playing out for you tonight, so we want to wish everybody the best of luck in there. So let's take a break, stick around, and we will be right back.
Poker is more fun when you win. Most poker books are too theoretical. They tell you to be more aggressive, but give few practical examples. Poker Plays You Can Use by Doug Hull, edited by Ed Miller, has 49 concepts with multiple, clear examples from real, live, 1-2 through 5-10 games. Each hand is visually represented, explaining which players are vulnerable to these moves. Use discount code KLAV at 3barrelbluff.com to get 25% off your copy. Paper and ebook available.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch on October 21st, 2013. 9 will become 1 way or another. Final9comic.com.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
Turn up the electricity on your computer by going to Roguewire.com. News, sports, current events, and the internet home of the Mark Hoke Show, plus much more. Like us on Facebook and follow Roguewire on Twitter to stay up to date and let the sparks fly off your screen. Check it out, Roguewire.com.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
Last summer, I was at the World Series of Poker every day and couldn't walk 2 steps without seeing someone wearing 3-bet clothing. It's super comfortable and stylish, and all their stuff looks amazing. The incredible team of pros who wear 3-bet hats, hoodies, tees, and more are a who's who in poker. All-time greats like Jonathan Little, Doc Sands, Brian Rask, Jason Kuhn, Scott Clements, Greg Mueller, Ben Tollerine, Jeff Gross, and of course, Antonio Esfandiari, all proudly wearing the 3-bet brand. They wear 3-bet clothing because they know that being comfortable and feeling confident is crucial to winning on and off the tables. 3bet.com has shipped thousands of orders worldwide, and it's time for you to join the 3bet team just like the pros. Go to the number 3bet.com and receive an added bonus of 15% off with the promo code RADIO. Make that right call. Look and feel like a pro at 3bet.com.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Wow, Tony Romo didn't choke off an end of a game. I had that on my screen. I saw him set up for the field goal, but I was occupied, so I did not see the ball go through. I wouldn't have believed it if I'd seen it. All right, Cowgirls. It's you and us Eagles. Let's play ball. That'll be fun. Last game of the year. I looked at the schedules, and I think they're going to be tied going into the last game. How much fun would that be to see Romo blow another one? Man, that would just, I don't know. I'd be running the streets naked. Well, maybe not, but I was just looking on Twitter, and Rex Clinkscale's a good friend of the show, said, OMFG, the Dallas Cowboys just won. Hashtag, it's a fucking miracle. So apparently reaction across the nation is being stunned on this one. Wow. All right. Well, we want to get Nate Dowland on here. So let's give Nate a call. Heather said, hey, too. All right. Cool. Very cool. All right. So let's say hi, Nate. Nate, what's up?
What's happening with you, Mark?
Oh,
I'm over here playing a little online poker.
Oh, see, we're both in a position we can make everybody jealous. So that's a good thing. So Nate, I want to get to you because you got in the news with the story you did on your show. Tell us about what happened with that interview.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh, Nate's distracted.
No. Actually, I was listening to the Mark Hoke Show on Ustream.
Oh, good for you.
So I had to get over there and pause that so I could hear you.
Turn down your volume. It's fun saying that. Anyway, yeah, but Nate, you just had that story with the situation with Attack Poker. You're right in the middle of that one. So tell us a little bit about that situation.
A friend of mine, Ken Horrell, as y'all seen on PokerNews.com, made a decision to withdraw the $10,000 buy-in from that Attack Poker brought him into the World Series event with, and not play the main event. He went around town, played a few other events in town, and he wasn't sure what was going to happen. Recently, he received a letter from their lawyers saying that they're suing him, and well, that's exactly what I expected. And now they're suing him for a little over $30,000. So he came on the show. He explained his side of the story. He wasn't getting answers that he wanted. They wanted 50% on whatever he won in the main event, and then they'd talk about what other events that they'd put him in. When they set him down with 2 contracts. It was kind of an odd situation. I was there. I wasn't in the room when he signed the contract, but I was there when he walked into the building. I rode with him from the quad over to Attack Poker headquarters, and wow, what a place! Gorgeous office they've got at the penthouse of the Wells Fargo building, right off the Strip. Beautiful view off there. He had a choice to sign a contract where he received all of his winnings, and it was just that one-time deal, or he could be a team pro, and he chose the team pro contract, and I'll see what happened out of that.
Yeah, and I think it really reminds everybody out there in the poker community that once you win something big, you need to pay attention to when people are coming at you, pay attention to what you're signing. You know?
Yeah.
Because it sounds, I mean, just from because I just talked to Chad Holloway about this on there too. Of course, he wrote the article that was on Poker News, and you did the interview with Ken as well. And it just seems to me like, while I do feel somewhat bad for Ken, at the same time, you gotta read what's in that contract before you sign it. And if it's not where you want it to be, you got to make sure to change it. So
he came to Las Vegas to play in the main event of the World Series of Poker as a staked player. And his mistake was not playing in the main event of the World Series as a staked player. It did take money out of his pocket to get here to Las Vegas, because he wasn't fortunate like you and I are now of actually living in Las Vegas. He lived in Hawaii, so he only got the $10,000 buy-in from Attack. He had to get himself here and put himself up on his own dime. And to do that, he sold 20-some% of himself. And was going to risk going home with just about nothing if he played in the main event. So he made a choice for his family that he was going to go home with some money in his pocket. He could have made a choice beforehand to take $2,500, but there's so many things that are going through your head when you've got that much money involved.
Yeah, it sounds like a big mess. So.
When was the last time you had $10,000 in your hand, Mark?
Just last night. I did well out on the street corner.
Boulder Highway's treating you good.
Yeah, no, I was hanging around the Sinclair lot near where I work on Tropicana, so
higher class over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, the truckers pay more. Anyway. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm just having a good time. But yeah, I mean, it's been a very interesting last few days, and certainly following some good action on Poker News. Alan Kessler, Player of the Year on the Heartland Poker Tour. We got Tony Dunst winning the World Poker Tour event. I mean, it's been pretty entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, it has been. I just bubbled the final table of the Ultimate Poker black chip free roll. It still took down $20.
There you go. Big win.
Yeah, that'll keep me playing for a week. That's a deposit for me.
Yes, it is. I love playing all of it. It's a fun site. I hopped on WSOP.com, and it's pretty good too. I mean, these guys are doing a nice job with these rollouts, and I'm sure with more of them coming here very shortly. I think it's going to be some quality entertainment for us poker players out here, and I'm sure in New Jersey too. Getting pretty competitive, and hopefully everybody's got some good programs and promotions, and we can just all do what we do, play every junk deal we can possibly find,
Hey, you know what? When Black Friday hit, it took everything I had to actually scroll through and find something worth playing. It took me until February of 2012 to actually find a site worth playing on, and that was Hog Wild Poker Leagues. They were staking out players at the time, and they had a World Series of Poker race where whoever had the best score at the end of the race won a seat to the World Series of Poker. I took it down. So
nice.
You gotta find something worth playing. If you're not in Nevada or New Jersey or Delaware where it's legal to play, find something that you can actually play for. Like that I found Quarter Poker the other day, which that's a pretty good site. You ever play over there?
No, actually I haven't.
It's totally free. They give you 25 cents a day to play. It costs 25 cents to play in either their 6, 10, or 20-man tournaments. They just started multi-table tournaments also. It's not a downloadable site. You can play it right on your phone or on online, just right through your browser. But you can cash out, but it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you cash out $50, which is their minimum, you only get a check for $25. So, but it's still free to play.
I miss Spade Club. I had fun on Spade Club.
I never played Spade Club.
Oh, Spade Club was great. I missed a World Series seat by 9 spots. I bubbled the final table in their qualifier a few years ago. I was very disappointed. But yeah, I mean that was a fun site. Pick up a little extra money here and there, and that was pretty competitive. So
Well, I can't wait to be able to get on WSOP.com. I've been having my ISP does not like WSOP.com. When I'm on my local my local internet here at my apartment complex, we get free Wi-Fi. So when I'm on that, I can log on to everything and play, and then I usually log on to my phone hotspot. That way, if the Wi-Fi here shuts off or something happens, I can just run right off my phone. If the power goes out, my laptop's still on, my Wi-Fi is still on, um, which is kind of a nice little setup. But WSOP.com does not like my setup.
I'm sorry?
WSOP.com won't even open, Mark. It sucks.
You know what? Go down to Caesars and bust their chops. How about it? There you go.
I should.
That'll give you something fun to do.
I mean, I'm one of the biggest donkeys in the world. They're missing out by not having me on their site.
That's great. Oh my god.
I absolutely love donking free rolls. I'm dying to get on because I want to play in those. They give you $700 a day free rolls when you first for signing up, and other $100 free rolls and whatnot. And I rock. I was so mad that I couldn't get into their big $100,000 free roll. I was so mad.
I missed it.
It's just so wrong that I got whacked out of that just because I had at that time they didn't even have Boost Mobile approved for playing. So.
Yeah, and I actually heard some people in New Jersey are having an issue right now where if they're too close to the, I know this happens here, but actually a fairly significant distance from the border, they're having troubles getting them logged in because of how they have things set up out there, which that really sucks.
Yeah, I was actually even thinking about packing up a van and driving to the other side of the country just to hit New Jersey, see what kind of players they have, and how long have you heard how long it's going to be until they can start pooling together the player pools?
Well, it darn well better be soon. I mean, it's insane that they don't do it yet, but I'm not sure what the hesitancy is.
It should have been done opening day.
Yeah,
and why have
that would have made sense.
Yeah, especially to test it.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? You know, it seems like everybody out here seems to have better ideas than sometimes the people running the show out there. But I'm sure there's a reason. Greed. Sorry. But that's how it goes. Oh, man. But I'll tell you what, Nate, did we have fun on the last KLAV show? Wasn't that great?
An absolute blast.
Oh,
John from AVP was over there. Kenneth James.
And you.
And me.
Yeah.
And you.
Yep, just you and I. But that was a great show. And, of course, the podcast is now up. So if you want to check that out with myself and Nate, Kenneth James, who just won the Win Classic. For everybody out there that said, why would you have Kenneth James on your show?
$85,000 win.
Yeah.
And he just took fifth place at the Venetian. It wasn't a large cash or anything, but it's consistency, and consistency pays off in poker. When you can get into a run like Captain Consistency, the Chainsaw Alan Kessler over there at the Player of the Year in the Heartland Poker Tour, if you can play consistently and make the money, you get extra prizes for that. The Player of the Year package is worth a little over $15,000 with the Heartland Poker Tour. With the World Series of Poker, it's worth even more.
Yeah, so I mean, Kenneth James getting back in the ball game there is, and Ken is one of those great personalities too. Boy, it would be nice to see him make some, continue to make some noise and get him back in here, because he's one of those kind of guys that you really like to have out there in poker. He's just so much fun to listen to and be around, and
he has some great advice.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
has some absolute great advice. We sat down at the World Series of Poker. He came on my show over on Tilt, and he came over for an interview. And then after the show, he went over and bought me a cocktail, and we sat down and talked about life, not even poker, just about life. And he basically said you've got a lot of indecisions in your life, and you won't get through them until you actually make decisions. And wow, was he right. So.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the one thing that we forgot about that happened on the show, Ken owes us lunch.
I was kicking myself. As I'm leaving, I'm like, wait a second. John was standing there waiting for Kenna because Kenna said he was going to buy lunch.
Yeah, we blew it. We all blew it. So, Ken James, if you're out there, you're getting a text message.
And you owe us lunch.
Yes, you bet. All right. Well, this tournament, by the way, we are seeding, so we are 1 minute away from tonight's off-tilt poker tables tournament series event 2. And Nate, I don't know what was going on with you. You couldn't get your Poker Stars done, and I apologize, but
I tried downloading it like 10 different times. I tried downloading it on Chrome. I tried downloading it on Internet Explorer. I tried